Professor of Criminal Justice at Wayne State University, an Institute for Social Innovation Fellow at Fielding Graduate University, and a board member of Proving Innocence, a Michigan organization whose mission is to free and support innocent men and women and assist exonerees to successfully return to society. As a trauma researcher, my work focuses on the human impact of traumatic events, including terrorism and genocide, as well as wrongful conviction, and the possibility of positive change after trauma. How we can move forward alongside the fear and the horror of our trauma, find meaning and purpose in the struggle, recognize what's important to us, and most importantly, hope. As an oral historian, my passion is to give voice to survivors of these life-shattering traumas and to learn from them about their experiences and their unique qualities and needs. Today, we will hear from 9 women who could have been standing in line with you at the supermarket, who could be your sister, friend, neighbor, or nurse, and who suddenly was arrested and wrongfully convicted of a crime she did not commit. Each of these women has subsequently been found to be innocent and freed or exonerated of those crimes, often cases where there may not even have been a crime at all, and often cases in which these wrongly accused women have had to deal with deep personal loss following the tragic deaths of loved ones, along with criminal charges. We will also hear from 3 women who are crime survivors or surviving family members and have been affected by a criminal case that resulted in a post-conviction exoneration, causing them to experience re-victimization and re-traumatization. Like the 9 Muses in Greek mythology, who were the goddesses of inspiration in literature, science, and the arts, each of our 12 Muses will showcase her poetry, artwork, or other creative pieces to illustrate the deep, long-lasting impacts of wrongful convictions on their lives and the unique challenges they have faced during their journeys to rebuild their shattered lives and productively re-engage with life. Please listen to their voices, hear their prayers, and be moved to action. Thank you.
Thank you, Zieva. That was beautiful. My name is Jennifer Thompson. I am the founder and president of Healing Justice. We are a national nonprofit that seeks to address the total harm caused by wrongful convictions to crime survivors and their families, to the wrongfully convicted men and women and their families, and to the community at large. We take an all-harmed approach, looking at the system that causes concentric circles of harm, overlapping each of us and our families, the community, and criminal justice practitioners. One of the cornerstone programs that we have at Healing Justice are our healing retreats, where we bring together men and women who have been harmed by a wrongful conviction and family members. We seek to talk about and unfold and lean into each other with our traumas and our grief and our harms and our hurts. One of the projects that we do during the retreats are expressive arts. We recognize that there are many ways that we talk about our harm verbally, but sometimes we can't really articulate exactly what's happened to us in words, but we can through creative outlets such as art or writing. Some of the projects that we do at our retreats revolve around masking or taking a journey in someone else's shoes, story stones, lost and found boxes, and who am I? So those are some of the projects that we do. We also do improv comedy and games during our retreats to figure out and learn how to laugh again and find joy in just the silly things and the everyday moments. I'm going to show you my project that I did. I did If You Had Walked in My Shoes. So one of the things we do is we invite people to find a pair of shoes that they resonate with. I've always liked vintage shoes, so these were the shoes I chose. I also did the journey on the road that I walked on, and I felt like I had been walking on broken glass as a rape survivor, as a person who'd been harmed by a wrongful conviction, and really most of my trauma resulted in the post-conviction process. So my road is broken glass, and I decorated as if it was stained glass. Some of the words that I used were all mixed up. Going places I felt like at the time of the assault and the rape. I was in college, I was maintaining a 4.0 GPA, I was supposed to get married. I have the words all appeared normal, because from the outside you couldn't see my harm, but the inside was very, very damaged and very hurt. The other words I used are, this is what help looks like, because I didn't have any help. I also have power through over here, and underneath this shoe I have smashed. My shoes at the tip of my, the toes I did in red to articulate blood and violence, because that's what sexual assault is, it's violence. The tip of my shoe here says dark side and attacked, and over here it says try not to die. The black part was the recovery, or what people would think of as recovery. Mine involved a lot of drugs, so I used cocaine, and in the worst of storms over on this side. On this shoe it says guilt-ridden grief and exposed. Then the white part is as I'm trying to go through the post-conviction process, when Ronald was released and exonerated. So my words are blown apart. A disappearing woman, which, because I felt like I had been erased from the narrative. I felt like by the time Ronald was exonerated, no one even knew who I was, and my story got really taken out of the narrative. Pain and violence. And then over here it says memories and shared pain. And then at the heel of my shoe, I have it in yellow because it's my favorite color, and I see it as joy, and I see it as power. So I wrote, what do we want? And it says inner peace. And when do we want it? Now. And my other heel says, we hear you, which is a big part of what we do at Healing Justice, is listening to stories and each other's pain. And then I decided to bling and bedazzle out my heels, because I felt like for the last 30 odd years, I've been digging my heels in, trying to help other people unpack and deal with and talk about their traumas and their harm. So this is my art piece. Again, it's called If You Had Walked in My Shoes, and hopefully it's a way to help people understand what my journey had been like as I walked through the trauma of the rape and the trauma of the wrongful conviction. So, thank you.
Hi, my name is Audrey Edmunds. I was wrongfully convicted 25 years ago. I have been out for 12 and a half years. I had a very busy day at work today, and then traffic coming home was really crazy. And you know what? You have to be thankful for that, because in a split second of anything happening in your life, you can be wrongfully accused of a crime. Nobody is protected. A false accusation is a crime. And it happened to me 25 years ago next month. I was pregnant. I had 2 girls, 1 more on the way. 5 months after the trauma happened in my house. I was charged with first-degree reckless homicide. 2 days after my youngest daughter's first birthday, I was incarcerated in Wisconsin, 5.5 hours away from my daughter's. What a terrible tragedy for everybody. When somebody is wrongfully convicted, everybody that knows and loves them is part of the conviction. They want to help you. They want to drag you out. They can't understand why these things happen. I still can't understand. By the grace of God, I got through it. By the great perseverance and continuous work from attorneys, medical experts, people that knew the truth, I persevered. Many people are not as blessed as I do, being wrongfully convicted and sitting in prison for so many years, not having anybody hear them that can help them. And I call that the silent scream. I can't imagine. As I've walked this journey and met others like me who have been wrongfully convicted, I hear their stories, and as hard as mine was, theirs is really hard when they sit for twice the time I sat and didn't have anybody to help them get out. It's a crime to be wrongfully convicted. It is a blessing that there are more and more people that are helping with these wrongful convictions, but it takes a long time. No matter how much truth and facts and evidence and eyewitnesses, once somebody is charged and hears those ungodly words of guilty, it is a long process to be removed from that. Thankfully, I am here. I try to keep my focus on blessings every day. I learned that when I was incarcerated too. You learn to be thankful to go pee when you got called for a urinalysis. You learn to be thankful when you could get out of your room. You learn to be thankful when you can just hug your friends, because touching somebody in prison is not allowed. There's so much more, and I don't want people to go through it, but I thank you for hearing our voice. I have 3 daughters, as I said. I was very thankful last November to see my youngest daughter that I was pregnant with at the time this happened. She walked down the aisle, and that is something I don't take for granted. I want to read a little piece that I wrote about us, and it's called The Chapter That Changed My Life. It began as a regular day, but the frame of a DA changed it. The medical opinions took me away, but after 11 years, the truth set me free. The parole commission shoved the nightmare in my face. I had to be strong and keep the faith. My daughters grew and our family changed. His love, God's love, never failed. My dear dad's heart crushed as he saw what he had taught about a fair trial. Guilty until proven innocent was not implemented in his daughter's wrongful conviction. He passed while I was in a cell. I hated being locked away. My dreams kept me outside the gates. I held tight to a thread of hope. One cannot take freedom for granted. Thanksgiving helped me survive. The hurt of a wrongful conviction never disappears. The scar fades, but always remains. I cannot change the nightmare, but it won't crush me or my future. I am thankful for abundant support, hard work of attorneys and experts, love and restoration with my daughters. One cannot look in the rearview mirror all the time when driving down the road. I cannot persevere and look forward for abundant goodness every day. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Grace, and I am a survivor of a wrongful conviction in Qatar. My piece is called A Quiet Spot. It was just a normal go around the circle and introduce yourself kind of thing. Just a dozen women sitting around for tea and talk. Just tell us who you are. And I froze. Who am I? A woman on the other side of the room began. I'm new here, I have a 2-year-old and I teach piano. Who am I? The answers moved around the circle. I've lived here all my life. I like to run and hike. I have 2 grandchildren. Who am I? Once, a long time ago, I knew who I was. I knew where I lived. I knew what I liked to do. I knew how many children I had. Then I became a case. My child, a case. A blip, perhaps, on someone's newsfeed once. Wife, mother, sister, friend, that got left at the door, outside. Inside, I answered to America. My name's too hard for them to pronounce. The answers continued. We moved here recently. We live near the school. Where did I live? I think I'm here in this place I called home. The last 2 years I spent incarcerated in Qatar. But Qatar might as well have been the moon. I came from the moon, I could say, and then try to shrink into the carpet. Where am I from? And what do I do? I survive, that's all. I try to do normal, go to track meets, set up play dates, take my children to the park, bake cookies. Normal no longer felt normal. And how many children do I have? 3. I don't dare say it. Who am I? They were waiting for me. My heart thumped and I bit my lips. Then, I'm Grace. I moved here from California and I'm a mom of 2. 2 years, 1 child, erased. 6th grade outdoor school. Our teachers instructed us about 100 rambunctious preteens to find a quiet spot and for half an hour sit and observe. I spent a long time looking for the perfect spot. I wanted a spot that contained some fascinating plant, promised some insect drama, or at least a bald eagle swooping overhead. I didn't want to sit still, only to return notebook empty, having seen nothing. But I sat, and I saw. Nothing spectacular, just life. The orbs of a web, vibrating with exploded raindrops. A leaf blushing from a twig, bark shedding like fur against my ankles. I came away with more than nothing. Capital security, Doha, Qatar. I needed a quiet spot where none existed. What did I look for? Chicken broth bubbling on a kitchen stove? Matchbox cars parading around a coffee table? A child slipping off to the woods without a backward glance? I couldn't find those, but I sat and I saw. Soapy water chased into a crack on the floor as I wiped away the sheen on hands and knees. A bottle dumping as makeshift mortar and pestle, echoes of an Indonesian village. A plastic cup arranged just so. Life. I came away with more than nothing. I have been home for almost 6 years. Home. What is home? I am still looking for that quiet spot, still wondering if I'll find the right place. Will I ever stumble upon that chicken broth, those toy cars, that child slipping off to the woods? Or will I sit here and look? What if it's not about the place, but the seer, not about the spot, but the scene? What if a wrongful conviction is not a wrongful life? To live and to have lived, to have walked the hallways and to have sung the songs, that is worth the seeing. I am a wrongful conviction survivor. I am a mother of 3, and I live here in this spot, comprised of all the spots I had ever dared to see. Thank you for seeing with me.
Hello, my name is Tomeshia Artis. I am a survivor of rape. My art piece today is The Journey of Rocks. I don't know if you can see it, so I'll go by in pieces. When I was 12 years old, I was pure, having fun at middle school. And one night, a man wanted a virgin for his birthday. So he chose me and broke in my window. During the rape, at 12 years old, I didn't know who to talk to, so I became silent. It was something that was not discussed in my home, so it was covered up. That's the bandage. We went to court, and my eyewitness testimony helped convict the wrong man. So during this time right here, this is so dark. I was deadly. I was out of control sexually. I got addicted to pain pills, and I just did not talk. This was the darkest part of my life. I thought the rape was, but this was. I remember after we went to court, looking at the transcripts from my rape case, and the doctor said that he didn't know I didn't act like your typical rape victim. I guess I was in shock. I was 12 years old. I didn't know how a rape victim's supposed to act. My DA at the time introduced me to Jennifer Thompson. I started going to retreat and started finding myself. My husband stuck by me. He was there at every step of the way. I learned how to love again. I learned to have peace with myself. I became a grandmama, and I started being healthy. I am now 4 years of pain pills free. So now, this is my rock right here. I'm happy. Anything is possible. Support for justice and accountability. This is me. My name is Tomeshia Artis, and I am a rape survivor.
My name is Gloria Killian, and my life as I knew it was shattered by my wrongful conviction. The conviction destroyed my family, my career, and everything that I held of value. I was charged with the death penalty. My first piece is called Forget Me Not, and it is about incarcerated women. Forget me not. We are incarcerated women. We are the forgotten, the marginalized, the dispossessed, the abandoned, the disposable refuse of a throwaway society. But the consequences of our repudiation have been overlooked in society's haste. Consequences of our repudiation have been overlooked in society's haste to hide its social and moral problems behind barbed wire and bars of steel. For we are the mothers of the future generations. The children who were torn from our arms will grow up to share the lessons they learned in their youth. As they have received, so shall they give. Those who were beaten will inflict violence on others. Those who were sexually abused will prey upon the innocent. The homeless and unwanted will become destroyers. The addicted will spread their sickness throughout the land. But those who received love will give love to others. Those who received help will one day help others. Compassion will be shared in the measure that it was received. Children who were permitted to bond and heal with their imprisoned mothers will grow up to make positive contributions to society. They will not sow the pain and anger of those who could never heal. Women who were helped to rehabilitate themselves will teach their children to recover from their wounds, to be strong, to be kind, and rise above the circumstances. Bitterness or blessing, the choice is yours. We are your future. Thank you for listening to my voice.
Julie Ray is a survivor of wrongful conviction who has struggled physically and emotionally with the trauma of her experience since her exoneration in 2006. She and Gloria were the inspirations and movers behind the first Women in Innocence conference in 2010. Julie cannot be with us today in person, but would like to share her message that it is possible to create beauty out of chaos, but we do need help from each other and from each one of you. Thank you.
Oh, My name is Sunny Jacobs, and I'm a survivor of wrongful conviction. I was accused of murder and sentenced to death, and it took 17 years for me to finally win my freedom. And I would like to share with you an art project that I did that I think is very important, because when a person is wrongly convicted, we feel like we're very helpless, and that all the choices are taken away from us when we're incarcerated. But when I was sentenced to death, I learned that actually we do still have choices. We can choose how we respond to our circumstances. And so, excuse me, I choose humor. And this is my happy nose, and this is my art project. Yeah? And it says choose, and that's a rainbow that I had only colored pens to use, but it means that you can choose. You can choose to be yellow and happy, or you can choose to be blue and sad, or you can choose to be purple and all mixed up, which is what purple kind of is. So that's the meaning behind my art project. And I am part of my art project because we all really are our own art project. Every day I get up and I choose who I'm going to be and how I'm going to be. And so I actually create myself every single day. And again, that's something that I learned while I was sentenced to death. Fortunately, with the help of pro bono lawyers, I was able to prove my innocence, and I was released. But I lost 17 years of my life. I was a young person in my 20s when I went in, and I was a woman, a grandmother in my 40s when I came out. But I decided to share the blessings that I had in my life with others and start an organization to help other wrongfully convicted people and everyone else who suffers from wrongful conviction. And so that's what I do now, aside from try to spread happiness and hope. And so I thank you for listening to me.
Hello, my name is Amanda Knox, and I am a survivor of wrongful conviction. I would like to share two poems that I wrote and published in my poetry book. They're both a little bit love poems, and I chose them because I wanted to show how there is ongoing trauma, or how a wrongful conviction or any kind of traumatic crime event can leave lasting trauma in the hearts of people's minds. This first poem is called Interlude, and it was inspired by the insane thoughts that were going through my head when my then boyfriend, now husband, was out running errands. Interlude. They came in the night, kicking in the door, and they took you, two faceless agents, and I couldn't even scream, though my head was pounding, "Don't say anything, say nothing without a lawyer." And I could hear you fighting them until I couldn't. And it was as quiet as before I met you, as quiet as my cell, which was in fact clanging and blaring with Italian soaps and violently ill women. I called the police station, but no one would believe me. All the pictures I had of you, of me and you, had been erased from my every device. Even your parents turned me away in confusion, childless. No one was even blaming me for your disappearance. That would have been something. Proof that you were here before you were gone. You are gone. And I can't tell if I'm crazy and alone, or if this ache for you is proof enough of your existence to never give up looking. But of course, you're just away for the latter part of the day. Tonight, you'll crawl into bed with me. It's just that now, right now, there's no difference between me and her, me and the crazy woman. This next poem is called Needles. I've always been one to watch the needle going in, to never let anyone catch me by surprise, not again. If I am a witch, then my magic is pain, containing it with a stitch of knowledge, draining it of its power over me, which is considerable. I start to see that thin gleam everywhere in the pitch. But I look to you again and again, and it's never a needle going in. It's your hands cradling a lit match. Thank you for hearing my voice.
Hi, I'm Ginny Lefever, and I'm coming to you from Zanesville, Ohio, which is a little rural city about 50 miles southeast of Columbus. My significant other and I moved here about a year ago just to be closer to my youngest son and his family. Today is my only grandson's 16th birthday, so happy birthday, Will. And before I go any further, I want to show you my shirt. I got this. I always try to bring a shirt from the Innocence conference besides the ones that they just give us. So this was a gift from a wrongfully convicted man from Taiwan. I spent 22 years in Ohio prison, and I found out he spent 44 years in Taiwan on death row, and I didn't speak any Taiwanese and he didn't speak any English. We just hugged and cried, and I left with the shirt, and a great memory. And I need to remind everybody that it is International Wrongful Conviction Day. So anyway, now that we have that out of the way, I have been home almost 10 years now, and I've managed to return to work as a registered nurse. I completed my bachelor's in nursing from The Ohio State University on Cinco de Mayo in 2013, and Barack Obama was my commencement speaker. Life just doesn't get any sweeter than that. But in the process, I became interested in the effects of wrongful conviction on the health of exonerees. And over the last 5 or so years, I've been interviewing kind of stealthily at conferences and opportunities that I get to talk to other exonerees. And including myself, there were 250 participants, and unfortunately, every darn one of us has some manifestations of it. It's just part of the package. But today's about hope, and today's about looking at where we've been and where we're going. And I like what I see. So I am Ginny Lefever, a survivor and thriver of wrongful conviction, and I thank you for listening to my voice.
Hi, my name is Christy Sheppard, and I am a survivor of a family member who was murdered. And today I wanted to share with you my art piece, which is a lost and found box. And on the outside, we were supposed to decorate like what was lost. And initially our harm did not begin with a wrongful conviction. It began with the murder of my cousin. And so I'm from Oklahoma, so I put a tornado on there. And in this tornado, the things that were lost is my cousin's name, Debbie C. Carter, comfort, well-being, hope, tradition, the power, safety, all those things were lost. And when I was making this box, I kind of came across, when you open it, and there wasn't really anything found yet, because when there's a wrongful conviction, there's this next layer that my family suffered through. And it was, here the men who were wrongfully convicted: Dennis Fritz and Ron Williamson, Giant Secret, Legally Blind, Madness, So What Do You Do? And in the making of this project also, so I had anticipated that I would put inside the box what I had found. And so I found all these bits and pieces of the things that, you know, legacy and to be the light, too brave to back down. But I couldn't bring myself to attach them, because what I kind of came to feel was that these were all the things that I was looking for, but I hadn't found yet. And I think I made this at a Healing Justice retreat a few years ago, and I still can't bring myself to attach them. So these are certainly things that I'm still hoping to find in this process. But there is a hope to find them, so they stay in the box. So thank you for listening.
Hello, my name is Jenny Reach, and in 1984, I was escorted out of the courtroom screaming after being wrongfully convicted of child molesting. The trauma and the stigma of being convicted of such a horrible crime has caused me a lot of heartache in life, but I've fought hard to overcome it. I'm not 100% healed yet, but I'm still working on it. My piece is from the book I'm trying to write, and it's about my first day of freedom. I was lying on my bunk when I heard my name called. I got up and went and stood by my door until the CO unlocked and opened it. I was taken to the counselor's office and shaking all the way. I knew I was expecting to hear some news about my case, and I knew this was probably the day where I wouldn't be called, nor would we be locked in our rooms at this time of the day. I went in and shut the door, and she told me to sit down. She then informed me that my conviction had been overturned, and nearly 12 years of dedication and hard work toward justice had been successful finally. All I could do was sob. She also said that the county police officers were on their way to pick me up and take me back to my county. I dropped my head as I listened to the prison counselor's office and sobbed some more. All my heart could say was thank you. I had prayed and hoped for this day so long, and it was finally happening. I just knew in my heart everything from here on out would be great. When the police came and picked me up, I was told to pack my 2x4 lockbox to take with me. Instead, I chose to give it to the other women. Please don't get me wrong, because I hated every minute of that dreadful place. I have had my share of tears, slamming doors, praying, and etc. I have had days and days and days where I could do nothing but lay on my bunk and look above at the other bunk. And I could feel the intense sadness and hopelessness. And now my prayers had been answered. As much as I hated this terrible place, I loved many of the women there. They had hearts of gold, and we connected and looked after one another. And saying goodbye was heart-wrenching. As I walked down the hallway to go out of the building and to be escorted to the parking lot where the police were, the women began cheering and clapping and shouting my name. I yelled back and told them I loved them and said goodbye to everybody. There were tears in my eyes. I had to be driven with chains on my legs and handcuffs until I was officially told I could walk out of being held hostage. When we arrived at Montgomery County Jail in Dayton, Ohio, I was placed in a holding cell where my attorneys were on their way to meet me because an anonymous person had posted my bond. And I was ordered to be set free immediately on March 8th, 1996. As I was leaving, the media swamped me. There were so many of them, and they were so close that I felt overwhelmed, claustrophobic, and panicked. I walked backwards with tears in my eyes, was heading to the bathroom, but they were actually following me into the bathroom, and only one put down his microphone and told his cameraman to put down his camera, and he said, "Are you okay?" I stated that I didn't know, but I was very afraid, and I clutched myself and locked myself in the bathroom. Finally, my attorneys came and waved all the reporters away, and I came out of the bathroom and walked out of the jail. Even though it was March, it was snowing a little bit. My attorneys and the Dayton Voice reporters, who were my supporters, wanted to take my co-defendant and myself to dinner. So we walked toward the restaurant, and I remember tilting my head back and stretching out my arms and looking up at the sky, and I was amazed there was no barbed wire fence around. I just stared for a while. Finally, I opened my tongue to let a snowflake fall on it, because when we walked the line in Marysville, we were not allowed to stop and be idle. We had to keep walking to our destination. I wanted the freedom to completely absorb me, and I wanted to take it in and have it go directly to and through my soul. Thank you for listening to my voice.
My name is Heidi Goodwin, and I am a survivor of a wrongful conviction in Washington State. I have art pieces behind me, masks, shoes, and my lost and found box. But today I will be sharing with you my limbo. I am not an exoneree. Does that surprise you? But I am not here to talk about what I am not. I am here to tell you who I am. I am Heidi. I am almost 20 years ago. I am a mother of 3 and still a child myself in so many ways. I am full of the life that you have before a trauma changes you indelibly. I am wild, free, and full of innocence. I am in the belief that the world works just like it's supposed to, and that the ugly parts are easily conquered. But I am a part of a world that does not exist. I am accused. I am 23. I am too young, too vulnerable, and too naive. I am unprotected because no one can save me. I am in a courtroom, the main attraction at their circus. I am told I am a monster, but I am just a friend, daughter, sister, mother, a mother, and still a child. Can't they see? I am convicted. I am told I am guilty because there is not enough doubt left for me. I am condemned on a fallacy. I am ripped from the arms of my children, Rachel, Derek, and Dylan. I am ripped from what makes me, we. I am pretending to be brave, so they are not afraid. But I am screaming, and no one can hear me. I am incarcerated. I am sleeping on a cement floor next to a metal toilet. I am eating food labeled not for human consumption. I am being stripped naked and searched daily. I am 3 months before I see the faces of my children who are 9, 5, and 2. I am fighting to get a spot for one phone call home. And I am quickly learning how to survive in a place I don't belong. I am a survivor. I am 8.5 years in. I'm holding my head up, finding my dignity and pride. I am choosing to become better, not bitter. I am using my environment to learn and grow. I am contributing and finding a purpose. And I am becoming woke, becoming a new me. I am a warrior. I am harder today. I am the lines on my face and the caution in my eyes. I am the pause before I laugh and the deep breath before I relax. I am weary of oppression and I see it everywhere I go. I am impatient with ignorance and I am unfucking tolerable to injustice. I am a winning appeal. I am a conviction overturned but unacknowledged. I am still fighting for my full freedom. I am a new mother. I am a we. I am afraid of what I could lose all over again. So I am a life in limbo, and sadly, I may always be. I am innocent. I am a freed client of the Washington Innocence Project. I am a member of the Innocence community. I am a sister to hundreds of exonerees. I am healing justice wherever I can be. I am a fierce kind of wild now, and I'm going to tell the world what they have done to me.
I am Jennifer Thompson, and I am a survivor of wrongful conviction.
I am Audrey Edmunds. I am a survivor of a wrongful conviction of shaken baby syndrome in Dane County, Wisconsin.
I'm Grace Huang, and I have been harmed by wrongful conviction.
I am Lefever, and I am a victim of wrongful conviction.
I'm Christy Sheppard, and I'm a survivor of wrongful conviction.
I am Gloria Killian, and I am a survivor of a wrongful conviction.
I'm Sunny Jacobs, and I was harmed by wrongful conviction, as was my whole family.
I'm Amanda Knox, and I was harmed by a wrongful conviction.
My name is Heidi Goodwin, and I was harmed by a wrongful conviction.
My name is Tomeshia, Artis, and I was harmed by wrongful conviction.
My name is Ginny Reach, and I was harmed by a wrongful conviction.
My name is Zieva, Konvisser, and I support all women harmed by wrongful conviction. Please go to www.healingjusticeproject.org and wrongfulconvictionday.org to learn how you can too.